Hey guys, Colbert here. Welcome back to another video. There is something big going on with Raid. They've been teasing for something, and we're gonna have a what's next in Raid video. We're gonna be reacting to this one right now. The video should be live when this video is live, my own video, so you can check that out on your own if you want. But if you don't, just watch my reaction together. We'll be commenting on everything that they covered throughout their video. It's about 9 minutes long. I hope we got some big news in it, and maybe some teasers for the future for what's coming in Raid in 2023. Without further ado, let's get started.
Welcome to the first What's Next in Raid episode of 2023. It's only fitting that we kick the year off with some huge news about what's coming to the game. So let's waste no time in getting right into it. First up, of course. Let's start with the new PvE content. We're supercharging some of our familiar dungeon bosses, making for a really tough endgame challenge. Introducing hard.
We totally knew about this. I mean, it was hinted already. Data mined, new bosses coming into the game. Hard mode
dungeons.
Let's go.
When we say hard mode, we mean hard mode. These aren't just minor buffs and tweaks. We've really changed up the mechanics and abilities of these bosses, adding devilish new twists to old classics.
So the bosses are now called Tainted, Fyro Tainted, everything so far. Each boss will be, of course, more difficult, and it's just a reskin of what they were before.
That's not to say you'll have to change how you approach dungeons entirely. Old stages will remain the same, with these remix dungeons being accessible via 10 extra stages for the Dragon's Lair, Ice Golem's Peak, Fire Knight's Castle, and Spider's Den.
All right, so let's go back a little bit, and you guys can see here. So stage 10, they're saying we're gonna have 10 stages of the new dungeons, and I'm already a little bit disappointed on this. The reason for why I'm saying this is we're still gonna get 5 to 6 star gear through it. The cost is gonna be the same, so obviously everybody will be farming the hard version if their account can do it. The cost is the same as farming, from what I saw, stage 25. It's gonna be 20 energy, so probably it's gonna be Mythic Gear out of this. Probably gonna be just Mythic Gear.
Peak, Fire Knight's Castle, and Spider's Den. So let's meet our combatants. These bosses weren't exactly nice to start off with, but a creeping darkness has tainted them even further. They're tougher, stronger, and more brutal than their regular counterparts. So bring your A game. Let's start with the noxious dragon. It's Tainted Hellraiser. Rather than more fire, this malevolent fiend has doubled down on horrific.
Ooh, weaken plus 3 turn poisons already, from what I'm seeing.
Poisons. His Mephitic Fire skill will apply twice as many poison debuffs as its normal counterpart, Wall of Fire, and it beefs up Tainted Hellraiser with a 50% increase attack buff for good measure.
So what that means already is you will probably not be able to solo dragon anymore for this more difficult type of dungeons.
His secret skill, Toxic Incineration, will activate all poison debuffs on your champions at once.
Yeah, so going in there with very high resistance will be pretty much a requirement if you want to solo this, or even take a team in there, because the poisons will be applied to your team, and he'll just activate them when he does the big breath.
This caustic explosion can deal major damage, so be sure to bring someone who can cleanse these poisons from your team. Now, let's take a look at...
already doesn't look that much difficult, right? Probably the issue with the dragon will be his speed and resistance requirement for your team. So if 300 resistance is required already on dungeons that we have right now, the hard version will probably even require 400, 500 resistance to actually be able to resist
Tainted Clysis and see what new tricks he's hiding up his frozen sleeves. Debilitating Frost will remove all debuffs from Tainted Clysis and decrease your team's turn meter by 30%. Also, he's now utterly immune to poisons.
Ooh, wow, this is a big one. Being completely immune to poisons basically removes most of the teams that already fight this boss, and most of the tactics. So cleansing will be something that the boss has. It will not be something that is constant, not constant cleansing, but it still means that this will be one of the boss that takes longer and longer to fight. And again, might be the one that we'll be skipping, right? We already skipped the ice golem. We don't farm it as much as all the other dungeons.
Makes sense, seeing as he's literally made from ice. So, how do you defeat something made of ice?
HP
Melt
burn?
it. HP burn is your friend here. It deals 10% more damage to tainted Clysis and destroys the max HP of his minions, making it easier to put them back into the ground whenever they get dragged back into the fight.
Alright, yeah, that's not bad. HP burn tactics should be okay. The boss still hits very hard, and it's probably gonna hit much harder on the hard version.
Some teams that used to shine in this dungeon will be getting the cold shoulder from tainted Clysis instead. Be prepared to change your teams accordingly. Next up, the Ice Golem's hot-tempered counterpart, Tainted Fyro, the Fire Knight. If you thought his shield was nasty before, just wait until you see it now. It goes from needing 12 hits to break in stage 25 of normal mode to needing 21.
Oh, come on. Now they're just playing with us, right? With 21. Now they're just playing. Now they're just going into nonsense mode. Like 21
hits in stage 10 of hard mode, and that's not even your biggest worry. Attacking Tainted Fyro's shield will destroy your champion's max HP by 1%. Need more HP destruction? His Corrupting Blaze skill also destroys your team's HP by 15% of the damage dealt. Meaning, whatever he does, your HP is taking a hit. You'll need to find a way to counter this, or else Tainted Fyro will be carving through your champions like a hot knife through butter. Oh, and he's immune to turn meter reduction too. Sorry, all you cold heart and Allure fans.
Oh my god. So no longer will we be able to do the cold heart combos, the Acrisias. That's out the window already just because of this. This will be a nightmare in terms of just tuning a team for this version of the Fire Knight. So the rewards better be worth it, but already we're gonna have the chance of getting 5-star gear, which is not gonna be worth it, honestly.
However, all hope is not lost. Turns out Tainted Fyro just needs to chill out. Okay, using freeze may not literally freeze him, but it will cause him to lose 15% of his turn meter per freeze debuff. Cool.
Per freeze debuff. That is not very clear. What do they mean per freeze debuff? So freeze champions are gonna be big here. Champions that constantly apply freeze. Pixniel, maybe? It's very specific on the champions that do apply freeze. Freeze has a pretty long cooldown overall, so I wonder how this is gonna go.
Let's move on to our next star, Tainted Scavag, and her endless brood of spiderlings. The changes to her dungeon should send shivers down your spine. First, Tainted Scavag is immune to turn meter reduction and HP burn.
Oof. Immune to HP burn and turn meter reduction. So, I mean, which are the tactics that we can use here? Is just straight up damage and poisons, maybe?
We're not kidding. In fact, if you've got HP burn on her spiderlings, each AP burn activation will now partially heal her. So you'll definitely want to avoid that.
And you cannot apply heal reduction. That's another thing.
Also, her spiderlings are immune to freeze, so that old trick won't save you either. However,
so whatever teams you had built in all of the dungeons, except maybe the dragon, I think the dragon's pretty much going to be the same, but everything else, you're going to need to remake the team.
Where one door closes, another one opens. Each time a spiderling dies, Scavag loses a chunk of her HP. So, upping your area of effect game and blasting her entire clutch to Kingdom Come is now a viable strategy.
All right, that is actually not a bad strategy. Actually, killing the spiderlings will kill the big spider. Completely ignoring turn meter will be something. So using teams that activate the HP burns will mean that you will be basically bursting down the small spiderlings. Actually, the HP burn might still be a solid tactic for killing the spiderlings, but I don't know about the boss. I don't know if it heals the boss so much when those HP burns are activated that it's still not worth it.
Another saving grace is that hard mode spiderlings aren't any tougher than they are on stage 25 of normal mode.
Okay,
so
that's good.
If you can splat them there, you can splat them here. Overall, hard mode dungeons live up to their name, and taking them on is well worth the effort. Along with yielding greater rewards and more event or clan v clan and tournament points, hard mode dungeons will also drop mythical artifacts.
Yeah, mythical 5-star gear is not what you're looking for, even if mythical gear guys, has one extra roll on it. So it's like having a legendary item that has, let's say, speed already rolled. So the speed will be, instead of the 5 or 6 that it can roll, it will be higher. So maybe 10 or 11 if you're lucky with the rolls. So imagine that. So on 6-star gear, that's why so much of the gear that we have already is better. And I wonder how they're gonna treat this with the Chaos Ore that we have already within the game, because Chaos Ores cannot be worked on Mythical Gear. I believe.
And accessories. Until now, you could only get mythical artifacts from Hydra battles.
And accessories.
But it wasn't exactly an easy location to farm. Once hard mode dungeons go live, you'll get to choose which sets to hunt for and have more ways to earn mythical artifacts and accessories. And trust me, you'll want these mythical goodies to prepare for the challenges we've got cooking this year. Speaking of challenges, we all know that the best thing in life is to crush your enemies, climb the ranks of the arena, and become the best in the world. But until now, you could only test your strength against AI-controlled defense teams, and we know you all dreamed of more than that. You want to go head-to-head with other players to feel the thrill of real-time PvP and test your skill against opponents as cunning as you are. Now, at last, we can say that dream is becoming reality. Live Arena is coming to Raid.
We knew about this, right?
We're super excited.
Okay, so it looks top left. Live Arena seems to be something that will be completely different, like a separate section of the game, separate rankings. Okay, from what I'm looking right here, top right, we have different refills available for you to fight within the arena. We have different medals on the top, so different bronze, silver, and gold medals, meaning it's gonna be a big grind for those.
Excited about it and can't wait to see how Raid's PvP scene will evolve after the feature goes live. We won't go into too much detail today, so consider this an appetizer before a full feature preview video later this year. Live Arena will be available to all players who are level 50 and above. You can queue up for battles several times a day on a set schedule.
Ooh, several times a day, 4 times during the day. You'll be able to queue for a specific amount of time, I'm guessing, and using those
a necessary measure to avoid long wait times in a PvE-focused game.
I want to see some quality of life, honestly.
Once you've queued up, you'll be added to the matchmaking pool, and you'll get matched up against an opponent as soon as possible. After pairing up with an opponent, the Battle of Wits begins with picking champions. During this phase, both players will pick their champions one by one, building a team of 5. Each player will then get to ban a single enemy champion from the fight.
I like it. I like the banning of the champion. It means you'll need to be aware of what the enemy player has available and their tactic based on what they're placing as their 5. So you ban a key champion from them. Let's say you ban their damage dealer. They go in only with 1 damage dealer. You ban the damage dealer, they're pretty much out. So are we going to see 2 damage dealers in every single of these setups? It is very possible that that is one of the strategies that you'll have to do. Or we'll see, you know, pretty tanky teams with maybe a tanky damage dealer like a Mortu Macabre, who's a tanky damage dealer, plus another one who is just a normal damage dealer. So
and choose their team leader. No doubt some of you more devious players will come up with plenty of mind games for this. Oh, and one thing to mention, you won't be able to use duplicate champions in the higher Live Arena tier.
I like the no duplicates. This is pretty solid in the sense of, you know, banning a champion now makes more sense. So you won't see, you know, 2 Taras and 2 Marichkas in the enemy team, and you'll have to ban one of them, right?
Once the teams have been drafted, the battle begins. It won't be all that different as far as core mechanics are concerned, except you're fighting a real human. So be prepared for nasty surprises that the AI could never come up with. All phases in battle will have an overall time limit and a limit on...
well, this with the nasty surprises, I won't believe it's going to be that big, because we already have custom AI and we pretty much make our champions play as we would, and actually the computer plays it much faster. It reacts much faster, so it's quicker when you're farming arena.
Player turns. Should the overall time limit run out, both players will receive a defeated result.
Imagine playing for 30 minutes.
You're fighting the clock as much as you're fighting your opponents here, so don't try and stall out for the win. On top of the sheer awesomeness of fighting other players in real time, there will be dedicated Live Arena quests, new artifacts, a new addition to the
Ooh, affinity bonuses. Area bonuses. Area bonuses. Okay, so area bonuses, they mean it will use the new live arena bonuses from the Great Hall, which is what I'm guessing before I watch the rest of the video. Video doesn't have much left, like 2 minutes left. So I'm guessing whatever you've done on the affinity bonuses, that's gonna be there. The medals that you have will not be available for you to use any way else. And the area bonuses will be from live arena, and whatever you do there will be able to be used in the area bonuses. So dungeons, Doom Tower, clan boss, arenas maybe, and I don't know, campaign. All the areas that we have in the game.
Great Hall, where you can spend your hard-earned life.
Ooh, potion keeps, ice golems peak. Oh, this will be completely separate. Look at that, completely separate. So potion keeps, ice golem, fire knight, dragon, spire. So instead of doing dungeons for all these 5, they do it separately. And that is so stupid, honestly. That is so stupid. And you're gonna buff the accuracy, resistance. I don't know, what is this? Crit damage, speed. You're gonna be boosting your speed in those dungeons. Hydra battles, demon lord battles. So no arena. Arena will not be affected from this. So it's all right. It's all right. Ignore defense. Ignore defense will be huge for dungeons.
Live arena crests and other rewards to look forward to. But we'll talk about all that.
Grade 2 and grade 3. Grade 3, I'm not sure what that means. Maybe it's more expensive to upgrade. Grade 3. So Hydra battles and Demon Lord battles. But these two already are content that has been done and it's finished. In the sense, for endgame accounts, all these two will not be affected. Potion keeps will not be affected. But Ice Golem to Dragon Slayer, these 4 are the ones that even endgame accounts will now need to worry about again and make hard dungeon teams.
That later. Those are the 2 main features we'll be working on in the near future, but we also have some significant quality.
All right, so we see right before they change up, you're gonna need 2,000. If I move myself a little bit, we're gonna need 2,000 medals from the gold part of the live arena to get the plus 20 on the upgrade. Plus 20 speed is pretty huge, and it's probably going to be affecting all of your team there. So it will take a long grind. And from what we saw in live arena, once you finish and end a battle, let me just take it there. As the battle finishes, we're gonna see on how many medals you can get. You can get 20 of these, and this is probably on the lowest tier of bronze. So that's about 3 times the amount that you get in normal arenas. So it looks like the cost is gonna be reasonable here. In terms of grinding, I don't think this will take as long as the affinity bonuses took.
Main features we'll be working on in the near future, but we also have some significant quality of life updates coming too. First of all,
expanded multi-battle settings. It's okay. We've got RSL helper, improved artifact management in multi-battles. That is a little bit better, but again, we have RSL helper, new artifact and accessories sorting options. This is solid, but again, we have RSL helper, improved fragment summons UI.
We're going to make separate multi-battle settings for various game modes and even for some individual dungeons. This should make it even easier to customize your farming teams and ensure they don't run into any trouble during their artifact hunts. We are also expanding your artifact selling options in multi-battle mode. Right now, you can only choose what rank of artifacts you want to get rid of. But we're changing it so you can pick which artifacts you want to keep based on the rank, rarity, type, set, specific substats, or any combination of these factors. It won't be difficult to set up, and it'll make your farming a lot smoother.
I like that they're adding this to the game. The thing is, again, this is a paid option within the game. Unless they remove the fact that the multi-battles are a paid option, players will still go for RSL helper. I don't get why they make this even a point. This is a paid feature, which is very bad for the game, to give all of this multi-battle accessibility, but only to the players who buy the multi-battles. Like, you can have 1,000, 10,000 of these, but there's still RSL helper, which is free, right?
Smoother. We're also adding a new sorting option for artifacts and accessories that'll allow you to sort your gear by stats. For players with many artifacts, it should help you keep on top of
It's funny because I mentioned about this kind of sorting when the filter system was out, and they could not understand what I was talking about. I said, can we sort the gear please by items without any speed, as an example, because currently we can only sort by speed. If the item has speed, it will show it. And they didn't understand what I was talking about. Finally, they understood in 2023.
Things. Finally, we're going to sort out the chaos that is the Fragment Summons tab. Champions that are currently unavailable by any means will be hidden from the list, unless you've got at least one of their fragments. It's a small enough change, but it'll make navigating fragment summons much easier.
Makes no sense.
And finally, it would...
New champions, yeah, or that is going to be whatever. But what I'm taking out of this is that the new hard dungeons, I'm liking it. It's going to be like a new puzzle that you need to solve with the champions that you have available. It's going to limit the teams again that will be able to beat those, and the hard version of the dungeons will require very specific teams to actually beat them again. That being said, I like kind of the challenge. The live arena will be an issue because, again, it requires more of your time. They did nothing in terms of using the quality of life improvements that they're showing in this video. They're saying nothing about more of the time required to spend the game. That is a pretty big issue, and they're making it bigger and bigger with every patch. They are still not addressing it, and they don't seem to have any plans of addressing it.
Wouldn't be a What's Next video without showing off some awesome new champions in the pipeline. Many of these fabulous barbarians, fashionable ogrins, and their friends are all but ready to jump into the summoning pool and join the fight for Teleria. A few are still in the early stages of development, and we need to iron out some new mechanics. They'll be worth the wait, and we think you guys will love them. And that's it for this episode of What's Next in Raid. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to keep up with all the exciting stuff coming this year. Until then, happy raiding.
Right. I get it. I like this. I like the idea. As I've mentioned, I mentioned the good things and the bad things about the whole thing. That being said, let me know down below, guys, in the comments of this video what you think of these whole changes that are coming to the game. I think everybody will be pretty much sharing my opinion with everything. But yeah, let me know. And we'll see soon on when these are actually going to be live within the game. See you guys.